A little bit of information about our bulletin structure and how to keep track of everything going on in worship in the Concordia Center. So I thought this would be an easy way to do it for a lot of people at one time through this video. So on the screen here we've got a copy of the order of worship page from our new bulletin format, and this basically just gives you an outline of the order of worship, and it's specifically just designed to help people get a sense of what's coming next, but it is not extremely specific because we wanted to keep it limited to just being the sidebar on the page. So there are bits of information that are intentionally left out. So as a leader in worship, whether it's pastors, liturgists, musicians leading, people assisting with taking offering, ushers, people working in the tech booth, those folks are all going to need to know a little bit more detail about what's happening in the service and specifically who needs to be doing what at what point. And so to help out with that, we've begun using a website program called Concordia Center, and what this allows us to do is to build the service in a way that we can not only just track the time, but it also allows us to keep specific notes for people. So as I prepare a service, I'm basically creating bits of information, like we're going to run an announcement loop pre-service. Pastor will give a greeting, and it allows me to give him some specific information so that we're all on the same page. A printout of what's going to be on the screen so that he has something to specifically follow, information for songs, the confession, etc. Takes us through the whole service and gives me a place to leave some specific notes. As you can see here, liturgists remain standing. Brendan will follow up with a chorus. Just helps everyone to have more information than we would necessarily want everyone to be reading in the bulletin. It would only really apply to us who are leading. It also allows me to make the best estimate on the length of things to try and track the time of the service. So you can see here there's a column for length in minutes. You know, I'm kind of allotting a minute for the pastor to welcome. And I know the song Hosanna is ballpark about 5 minutes long. The confession absolution about 3 minutes long. Children's message we shoot for 4 minutes. Some of these are the ideal world, right? This week we were shooting for an 11-minute sermon. Sometimes we allow a little longer. A baptism about 6 minutes. So that helps us kind of give a guesstimation of the service time so that we know at the end we've got about 61 minutes and 25 seconds worth of information. So if we actually kept to that, that'd be an hour and a minute worth of time there, and that would be keeping within the hour to an hour and 10 minutes that we're shooting for worship. It also keeps a running ticker of time on the side over here so that I'm seeing both services, the 9:30 and the 11 o'clock service, so that I know when we get to the confession and absolution, ideally we'd be around 9:38 or 11:08 and 10 seconds. So that's what all that's about. It's not really so much of a scorecard as it is a planning tool to help try and keep things under control in terms of time. Another neat thing that it allows me to do as I'm planning the worship services is to leave specific notes for people. And so when I make these things, I can create special notes that say, for the lighting people, please make sure the lights are on a certain setting. When it comes to like offering, I can make some specific notes that people will see. We're going to have the lighting to a video setting. I've got a note here for the ushers. Please take the offering during the video. So it gives me a little place to make notes for people that will appear on their sheet. So I think that's very helpful. And then what we get when we're all done with that is a printout. And that looks like this. And this is what we receive on Sunday mornings. And it basically gives you 3 columns here, like we saw before on the website, the date and the time of the service, and this is sort of the running ticker of time, and then the length in minutes that we're shooting for each event, specifically the headings of what's happening. Here's the welcome, greeting, invocation, and on the sidebar we have special notes for the audio person during the announcement loop. We have a CD of mix, letting people know to put it on pre-service light setting, and we have a pre-service loop so the person running the media knows that happens. And then, as you can see down here, a lot of these notes are for light, but I was able to make a note for my audio guy this week that Sean was singing harmony, helps them to know as far as balancing microphones. During the confession and absolution, I have a note for ushers. Please keep the doors closed and shut and wait until after confession enter, just so we don't have a lot of movement of people while we're doing the confession. So a little sidebar, things like that. And that's a really critical piece, I think, that will help us all be on the same page, is for every person who's involved in a leadership role during worship to have a copy of this with them, in addition to the bulletin, because this actually has all the content you would see in the bulletin, except for the upcoming Bible studies and the prayer page. But everything else you would need for worship is in this document. So it's a little bit of a change, but I'd like everyone to get used to using that. And we've been trying it over a few weeks for people to get used to following it, but it really puts everybody on the same page. I always think when it comes to offerings, specifically, it can be tricky. Like, do we take the offering during a song, or do we have a video, or are we going to take it while Pastor's doing his announcements? So we're going to work really, really hard prior to Sunday morning when I meet with Sharon Kay and the pastors to talk about what we're going to be doing and when things are going to be happening. So it gives me an opportunity to make a note like this to the ushers, that while the video is taking place, that's when we'll do it. It just kind of removes some confusion, and everyone's on the same page. So that's the format. I also have some kind of emergency contact numbers here, at least for people I need to be able to get a hold of on a Sunday morning if there's a problem. But that's what we're going to print out every Sunday morning and have these available in the ushers room, and plenty of copies for everybody. And we might even post them on the wall just so there's one there. That's a great way to follow along with what we're doing in the service. And should be something, I think every person, when they get a copy, should just take a quick look over it and look for things that relate to you. I know in the tech booth, the people who run the lights have a highlighter, and they just go through and they highlight all the spots in bright yellow so they know where their specific notes are. Helps keep everybody on the same page. So I hope it's a useful tool, and I thank everybody for all the ways that you help serve and make all the details on Sunday morning work out. God bless.